Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It is Monday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you for joining us on the programme, and thank you to everyone for subscribing and sharing with your friends. You can join the ever-growing football family by doing just that, subscribing to our YouTube channel. And in the studio with us today, Alan Rough, Alison McConnell and Barry Ferguson here to talk football. We'll look back at the Scottish Cup and, of course, look ahead to the draw, and then Premiership action returns. Yeah, lots to talk about on the programme. Just before we touch on the Scottish Cup ties that were played over the weekend and the subsequent draw for the fifth round, I want to get your thoughts, Roughie, on Brian Rice. I believe it was a very brave thing to do, to come out, inform the SFA of the continuing problems that he has with his addiction to gambling. This is the statement that came out from Brian Rice. I would like to express my regret to the players, coaching staff and my friends and colleagues at Hamilton Academicals for the lapse that has prompted me to voluntarily acknowledge breaches of the SFA's gambling rules. I wrote a letter to the Scottish FA self-reporting my gambling and did so as an admission that my disease has returned. I have apologised to those at the club in whom I sought counsel. I accept that a breach of the rules will come with punishment, and I accept that. I am eternally grateful to the club for its unwavering support, both seen and unseen. I've spoken to my management team and players, and they've been great, and they understand the reason for me speaking out today. It is my intention to atone through openness, honesty and togetherness. Well, I think that deserves special mention. The bravery, first of all, to do it, Roughie, because it not only affects him, but it affects everyone around him.
Yeah, now in the position of a manager. Unfortunately, in the past, he was only a coach when it happened the last time, when he was abroad. Yes, it's good that he's come out and led to believe that it's the best way to treat that kind of addiction, to let everybody get people round about you to support you, and that looks as if what he's done. And the openness is, I'm sure, will not only help him, but help everybody round about him.
Well, I was going to say, apart from the immediate problem, which is Brian's problem, it may well help other people who are thinking, I can't come out and discuss this. I can't say to anyone other than, maybe close family members. But in football, maybe Brian has given other people the opportunity to say, well, if he can do it, I'm going to do it now.
I think you would have to applaud his courage in being so transparent with it. I think, as Alan said, I think one of the steps to recovery is to be open and honest about it, and I think he's tried to do that. I think now you just need some support, both from the club and whatever support the SFA can give him. And I think it's a problem that's probably far wider than any of us would realise in football.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ali, on that. I was going to say to you, Barry, just because there are laws in place now and rules that come with a penalty doesn't mean that the people who've been, taking this as the norm for the last 40, 50, 100 years of let's have a punt on our team or against, certain other teams in the league, it goes on. It doesn't suddenly stop just because there are laws there.
Yeah, it is a problem in the game, there's no doubt about it. But first and foremost, you've got to applaud Brian Rice. It is a disease, and he's come out and he's been open and honest about it. But I've seen it at first hand at previous clubs. Some guys had problems and they were scared to come out and admit it. So hopefully somebody like Brian Rice, who's in a top position in the Premier League, coming out and admitting he's got a problem, hopefully others will follow.
Scottish Cup ties at the weekend. There was maybe the odd one or two that might have shocked some of us across the board, but the big guns were in there, Roughie, and managed to triumph. Rangers on the Friday, Celtic, of course, against your side on the Saturday evening.
Yeah, I don't think it matters what team you are. When you have a layoff of 3 weeks, you're going to come back a wee bit rusty. You're not going to be up to speed. But I think most of the big sides, sought out. I think Ross County were the only really casualties of the bigger sides. And most of the highlights that I saw, good attendances, which was a big thing for me. I thought a lot of the attendances were up in particular games. So most of the people went out the weekend, saw some good games.
Yeah, never seems to be a week or a weekend passing by without some noises coming out of either half of the Old Firm and their disgust or displeasure at what's happening at the SFA. Rangers, the latest to jump on this one with the charges that came out late, I think, on Friday regarding the conduct of certain players and some of the backroom staff in the games against Hibs and Celtic. Rangers certainly have slammed the SFA on this one. Here's the statement from Rangers. They are astounded by the notice of complaint issued by the SFA. It is concerning that it seems the governing body is seeking to hold Rangers to a different and more stringent code of conduct than applied to others, with unprecedented charges being levied against the club. Rangers fans can be assured that it is our firm intention to resist the charges in the most robust manner possible. Rangers will make further comment after the weekend. Now, at the end of the day, Rangers, like every other club, Alison, can defend their point, whether they think a charge should be made or not, and countless legal teams have managed to prove that maybe a charge was not justified. But there's one line in there that suggests that Rangers are suddenly being governed in a different way to everyone else, which I think will bring another slap on the wrist for them. Yeah,
I think we discussed it earlier, but I think that the SFA handled it poorly. I think it was the announcement, the staggered decision making I find baffling. I don't understand why you don't look at one game in its entirety and announce what the punishments are for all concerned. I think they've played into two camps here by announcing Christie very early. We had Neil Lennon, we had Scott Brown come out and get the guns pointed towards the SFA by saying that Celtic were being penalised. It was laughable, I think that was the word. And then on Friday evening we have exactly the same coming from Rangers, saying that they've been mistreated. I think there are mountains and molehills here. I really do believe that. I think the handling of it gives rise to paranoia and conspiracy chat on both factions, and I don't think either need particular encouragement to come out in that way.
Yeah, it's at times. Let's be balanced about this, Barry. At times, you sometimes look at situations where a penalty has been handed out to a player or officials, and you think, backroom staff, come on, it's handbags at 30 paces, so you fight your case. But we seem to have this non-stop ongoing situation where if they're not happy with the punishments that are being handed out, then they're coming up with what I call classic PR spin on, what a gesture really means or whatever. I mean, am I offended, or is it really against the rules for Ryan Kent, to be mimicking holding a gun when he's just fired the ball into the back of the net against Celtic? Is that a breach of the rules?
I think it's soft, Peter. It's going to come to a stage where you won't be able to celebrate a goal. But it comes down to the SFA. It's took them, 3 weeks to come out and punish him. It took him a week to come out and punish Celtic over Ryan Christie. Why was it not done in that week for both clubs? It's typical SFA. I'm not surprised. And they need to get their house in order, the SFA. It's not good enough.
Yep, I think everyone would like most of the decisions collectively made on the day right across the board. And I don't understand why that can't be made. I've had excuses in the past that they can't get all three people who are making a decision on certain issues together in a room to call it. But I don't think that's the issue, Roughie. With this situation, it's a game. You see the referee's report, you see all the people that have been guilty of misdemeanours, you then collectively say, OK, he's getting this charge, they're getting that charge, and this man will be brought to account. Bang, get it out.
Yeah, but I agree with the guys. It's taking too long. That is the main thing. It's taking far too long. But the thing about it is, you've got to look at the offences. You look at, are the offences deemed to be wrong? And I think they're quite right at pulling the charges up there. I mean, I don't know what goes through some players' minds. If you score a goal, why do you want to use a machine gun? I just don't get that.
Yeah,
what are you saying in your mind when you're doing that? Why are you doing it? I just don't get it. I mean, the Morelos one, I don't know if we all agree in what we think that gesture was, but it's wrong. It's wrong to do it. It's stupid. And if it's in the rule book that you're not supposed to do it, don't do it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
If you do it, you get punished.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'd like it all to be explained.
But punished right away.
Yeah, right away, as quick as is humanly possible when they all get together to review that game. I think that's the problem that a lot of us have with it. Are we in a situation? I think you need to go back and watch Harry Enfield, and he did a sketch with Charlie, and everybody just shakes each other's hands, and then they walk back to the halfway line, because that's the way it's going now. Nobody can have any kind of laugh, or although I do think Morelos' gesture was just a wee bit over the top, especially if you're kids and you're heading towards the stands and you're going off. I think he should have held back on that, but. Listen, we're at a line now where everybody is offended by everything. So if it's in the rule book, yes, by all means charge them, but get it done fairly with both clubs fully aware as early as possible, I think, is the word we've got from the camp here today. What about the overall results at the weekend? Rangers passed Stranraer, no problem with that win on Friday.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no problem. It was a kind of nothing game. As Roughie pointed out earlier on in the programme, they were really rusty. They've had 3 weeks off, but do you know what? The main thing is in cup competitions as you get through into the last 16, and that's what they've done. I don't think they were going to ever be in any trouble with Stranraer.
They made 7 changes.
Yeah, they made 7 changes, but also it's an opportunity for guys who have not played a lot of football, Peter, to go and show that they can get into that starting 11. But see, at the end of the day, it's getting into the last 16 and getting a 2-0 win.
Yeah, and it was tight, Roughie, at Firhill. In the end, Celtic triumphed. He got a late penalty. Jeremy Frimpong's not having any of it. He didn't think you should have got a penalty.
No, I think he was right. I think he should have had a penalty, and I don't think we should have had a penalty. But that's by the by. It's gone now. Celtic with a far better side. But when it's 1-0, you're always in the game. It doesn't matter what team it is. We had a couple of chances. But when you get a couple of chances against the big side, you've got to take them. If you don't take them, you end up losing. And unfortunately, we lost a deflected goal. Yeah.
Did Lee Griffiths prove any point, Ali?
I think he reminded people of where he is. I think the fact that he was selected to start suggests that it might give Neil Lennon a wee bit of food for thought about how he approaches the latter half of the season in terms of formations. There's an opportunity there now to maybe play 2 up front. I'm not sure we've seen that too often. He might go 3 at the back in some games, or 4-4-2. He's got the 3 strikers there that he'll want to utilise. It's a long way, I think, if we're talking about points being made and getting back to where he was a few seasons ago. I think there's a long road still ahead. But what it did do is maybe just suggest that there is scope for a future there at Celtic, which I think last week the expectancy was that he would be going out on loan because there was another striker coming in. The fact that might not be the case suggests if he can work hard and knuckle down, then there's an opportunity to go and prove that he can get back to the level that we've seen him perform at before.
Yeah, here's what Lee Griffiths had to say after scoring in that win for Celtic.
There's a lot of pundits and ex-pros that think my time at Celtic's finished, and that's a message to them to, it's the only way I can shut them up by scoring goals and playing well. My time at Celtic's far from finished, believe me, and hopefully this is just a start of a good run.
Well, it's a defiant noise from Lee Griffiths. His time at Celtic is far from finished in his eyes.
Well, it's shown me he's got a bit of fight about him. He's wanting to fight and try and stay at Celtic. For me, it's just important that he gets back playing, especially for the national team as well, Peter. I keep going back to it, but for me, when he's fit and firing, he's the best striker that's available for Scotland. So it's good to see him get back. It was a poacher's goal. It wasn't anything special, but listen, he got on the score sheet and he got a good 75, 80 minutes under his belt, which is important.
Yeah, one of the other strikers that we're hoping really comes to the fore around about March is the man who seems to score goals week in, week out. It's Lawrence Shankland scored the goal for Dundee United. They got a 2-2 draw in the end. I beg your pardon, Roughie. Celtic obviously keen to have a wee sniff around, see if Dundee United could be tested, losing Shankland in this January window. Would you, if you were Celtic, push the boat out for him?
I think it depends on the money, how much Celtic think he's worth, and again it'll fall into Dundee United to see whether they think it's worthwhile letting him go. I think Dundee United are going to get promoted. They will do without him if he was to move, at the end of this month. But I think the boys got to think long and hard about where he goes, because he's really enjoying his football and he doesn't want to go to a club that he's not going to get regular games. So I think everybody's got to make decisions in this one, the two clubs and the player.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, Roughie, Lech Poznan being linked with a move for Florian Camberry. Would you let him go?
Well, I keep hearing conflicting reports that he flatters to deceive in a lot of the games. Again, I don't think they've got a nucleus, a lot to choose at this precise moment in time. So again, I think it's just about money with him as well.
Yeah, if it was me, Roughie, I'd probably get the taxi and drive him there myself to Poland just straight away and not worry about a flight. I'd just get him out.
No, I think Hibs will look for some money. I don't think he'll go that easy.
Yeah, okay. Great news for the Jambos. A good win against Airdrie. They needed it. Daniel Stendhal this week, I think, will be a busy man bringing in players.
Yeah, I think they desperately needed something. I think if had they lost at the weekend, it just I don't know where it might have gone, but we'll see where it goes. Again, it's very early days. One win is not going to take you out the mire. It's what they do now over the next few months, and more pressingly maybe what they do over the next few weeks in terms of getting some bodies in.
Yep, okay. We're going to look at that fifth round draw in a moment, but first of all, it is Monday. It's a new chance for you to win a prize. Is anybody 100% on that one? Don't say it, Ali. I thought you were going to say it. You're moving your lips. Barry had Did you have a wee sniff at that?
Yeah, it was. Neil Snell it. Won it for me.
Tipped you over.
Yep.
Okay. Good luck with the quiz. You can win yourself one of our T-shirts on our website in the shop if you can give us the correct answer. What about that fifth round? Here's the draw. Roughie, anything there that you think could provide another shock?
Not shock buys, but good games. Aberdeen versus Kilmarnock will be a very good game. St Mirren Motherwell will be tasty as well. I think the rest of them, I think Rangers should win that, Celtic should win that, Hearts should win that, Inverness Livingston will be tasty.
Yeah.
But good one for the Lowland League side.
It's a great draw for
that. Can they swap that game if people say that the facilities aren't up to?
No, but they play at Alba, so I think it'll be fine for that.
It'll be okay. Yeah. And if you were thinking of going to the Scottish Cup games, not a real point now because Roughie's just giving you all the results, so not really. Maybe you go to a movie and enjoy yourself rather than going to something that's already been decided by Roughie. Listen, there was one game down south that I was really looking forward to it, Barry, but I made a monumental mistake of agreeing to go out for lunch on a day when Liverpool were playing Manchester United in a restaurant where they had no service. I couldn't even pick it up until I had to go home at night and watch it, but in the end, Liverpool triumphed.
Yep, they were a better team. Look, Man United came into it a wee bit in the second half, but VAR played a part again in the first half. There was a couple of incidents, but no, Liverpool, far the best team in England just now. They deserve to win it.
Yeah, and this is what Jurgen Klopp had to say on the fans celebrating a title win. He's not buying into it just yet.
But I have to keep myself really in the interview, try to stay concentrated in interviews because I know already we play on Thursday against Wolves. So that's the truth. So, and I'm really only, to be honest, I'm not only interested in that game and nothing else. So, but again, your question was different. So, of course, they're allowed to dream, to sing, whatever they want.
Well, I love him, Ali, but right now, what a year this has been for Liverpool. Champions of the world, champions of Europe, and the most important one, I think, for every Liverpool fan, champions of England, is looming ever closer. I
think we can see it. I think for any observers now out with the club, I think Barring a catastrophe, they will win the league. I think you can say that now. Obviously, no one associated with the club will come out and say that. But I think even privately, they'll feel, go out and enjoy now the remaining months because you know what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Roughie, there was a story today in one of the papers that financially Liverpool could be taking in more money than Manchester United over the course of the next 12 months, such as their stature, not only here, but across Europe and the world now. This brand is getting bigger and bigger again.
Well, the brand was always there. I think if you get a chance to go abroad, you see kids running about in Liverpool strips. So you're right, the world football, the European football, they're at the stage now Man City were at when everybody was talking, can they do the 4? I don't know. Do you think they could do the 4 cups? Liverpool?
Why not?
Yeah.
It's about who's going to stop them.
City, didn't we?
Yeah.
Talk to him about Van Dijk. Honestly, he just coast games.
Yeah.
He was a delight to watch yesterday.
Unbelievable.
He was not even sweating. He just looked as if they'd done an interview after the game. And it looked as if he'd never sweated once.
Yeah.
It was immense.
Yep.
Immense.
And it's hard to believe it. Played in Scotland, and everybody was wondering whether he could play after he'd beaten about 9 St Johnstone players, and coolly had the cigar out and put it in the back of the net. But I think the proof is in the pudding. Absolutely top drawer. Listen, it's been great. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, of course, right across all our social media. The football family growing bigger as ever, week on week. Thank you to everyone who's sharing our stuff on Facebook as well. Facebook Lives Monday to Friday. And if you follow us on that, you'll get all the stories, not only in PLZ Soccer for Scotland, but there's English news and world news as well. So lots to keep you right up to date. And if you download the app, it's all there at your fingertips. So, on this Monday, thanks very much to Roughie, to Alison and to Barry, and from myself, Peter Martin. Thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.